Today on Judge Faith, no good deed goes unpunished.
There was no agreement for the rent that she claims. And I also have a voice recording of her saying that she threw my things away.
She can go to Vegas, she can go to modeling interviews, she can buy Michael Kors purses. Oh, she can just buy all these things that she's suing me for.
Based on what I've witnessed here today, I just don't see that kind of gratitude coming from you. I see attitude.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Tiara Tucker is suing a former landlady for $2,425 for the cost of personal belongings. She is joined in court today by her boyfriend, Charles Owens McKizzie. Defendant Reggie B. Wormsley is countersuing for $5,000 for back rent and defamation of character.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, we have Tucker versus Wormsley.
Thank you, Barbara. Tiara Tucker?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Reggie B. Wormsley, for $2,425 for clothing, books, and personal belongings?
Yes.
And you are countersuing, ma'am, for $5,000 for unpaid rent and defamation of character?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start with you, Ms. Tucker. Tell me how you met the defendant and why she owes you over $2,000.
This is my first time in LA. I recently came to LA about 2 months ago.
From where?
Minnesota.
Okay.
I initially came out here for modeling. And when I first got here, I have no friends. And I met the defendant's mother first downtown LA.
Where did you meet her?
And at the local donut shop. And, you know, I was talking to her mother, and she was saying, you know, my daughter has a nice place. You can figure something out with her. And
where were you living at the time?
I was in a shelter.
How old are you?
I'm 22. And the defendant's mother was saying, you know, maybe you can work something out with my daughter. And at the time, she said she was a nice lady, and, you know, she had things together or whatever. And so she brought me over to her house. I met Miss Wormsley, and at the time, you know, her welcoming me into her home, which was nice. However, the character thing that she's countersuing me for, I'm pretty sure you will see that.
Well, character means you assassinated mine.
Well,
so
Ms.
if you don't know what
Wormsley,
it
tell
means.
me about what led your mother to invite her to stay with you.
Because my mother runs her ministry. She's trying to start it off the ground. And this is what she's been doing all our life.
What kind of ministry?
It's like a Misha Street, Hope Misha Street kind of ministry where she helps the youth. She helps people that are down and out.
Okay.
Help them to find their way. This is what she does. She's been doing this all my life.
Okay.
So when she called me, I was really reluctant. I said, no, because, you know, I don't know about that. My mom had just met her. But my mom liked something about her. I guess she thought that I would be able to help her, because I do help people quite a bit. I volunteer in my community. I'm always doing something for somebody. My house is like a runaway. Everybody's always there. This young lady, on the other hand, I met her. She was with a guy. They didn't have anywhere to stay, and they were looking for a hotel. She wasn't initially going to stay at my house. I was going to get her to take her to the county building to get a voucher to move into a hotel with this young man. Well, I said, well, I don't know if you'll be able to stay in that hotel with him because I know those vouchers are different. Well, maybe you want to say you're his sister or something. I don't know. He goes and gets his voucher, okay? We drive across town on the Adams District. I live on the other side of town. We're driving. Okay, I'm like, wow, when are we going to get to this hotel? And we pulled up. I thought it was the Adams family something. It was so creepy, and I was, oh, my God. Is she really going to stay with them little short pants on, that little tank top? She had a little Dora the Explorer book bag. That's all she had. And so I was like gonna drop her off, but the way she was dressed, I didn't feel comfortable. They might have taken her for a hooker or something, the way she was dressed. Not saying you can't wear short pants, but I didn't want nobody to try to say anything to her, because she looked like a scared chicken. She really did. Scary. Just looked like, oh, you know, okay. So I get out the car. I'm pretty tough, you know. Let me go in and see what it do. I gotta see where you going. This don't look right to me.
You look tough, just so you know.
But I'm nice.
Okay, all right.
But I'm nice. I'm sweet as pie. So he goes in there. So he goes, excuse me, don't be disrespectful, because listen to me. So she goes in this hotel with this little Dora the Explorer backpack. There he is. Oh, this man comes. That's a derogatory message on the window. If you don't pay your rent, get the, out. I said, wow. I've never seen anything like that. And when he came out after about 5 minutes, I said, well, can she stay here with him? He was like, no. He was real rude. Now, she going to pay $15 extra, you know, that kind of thing, you know? And so I said, $15 extra. I said, do you have the money? She was like, I don't have it. I said, do you have the money? He didn't want to pay. But that was her boyfriend. I said, I can't just leave this girl here.
So you said, come on back to the house.
I said, you know what, come stay with me, and you're going to pay rent, just to let you know. I'm pretty straightforward what I say.
So what did you tell her about rent? You told her, I read your papers, she was supposed to pay $150 in rent once she got a job, because you weren't working at the time, right?
Exactly.
She was seeking employment, thousands of applications. I was just seeing her little program. I said, well...
$150 or what, a month, a week?
Yeah, a month.
A month, okay. And so that was the agreement, that you would find a job and pay $150 a month?
No, there was not an agreement of $150. That came after I told her I was going to take her.
You know what? I got proof that I told her that in a text right here, out of her own words, Your Honor. She told me she was going to meet me at 4 o'clock to give me my money. I told her,
which was $60
you can give me $60 worth of food stamps, and we'll talk about the rest later, because she acted like she was so broke. But she can go to Vegas, she can go to modeling interviews, she can buy Michael Kors purses. Oh, she can just buy all these things that she's suing me for, that I apparently supposedly threw away.
Well, how do you know she went to Vegas?
Because she was in my house when she went with her boyfriend.
I'm afraid to ask, is this the boyfriend?
That's the boyfriend.
Okay.
Oh, amongst the other people that they say they've been. Anyway, we're gonna stick to the issue right now, because let him get up there too, because I want to talk to him too. That's fine.
Okay, well, stand up, please.
He's the only boyfriend, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, she done slept
He's
with the
the
neighbor's
only
son and
boyfriend,
everybody
Your
else,
Honor.
too.
Step over.
And Miss Innocent.
What's your name?
Charles.
Miss Innocent.
What do you have to say, sir?
Okay, I've been with her for 2 years. I don't know where the extra dude came in at. She's lying about that. And first off...
Where you live?
Huh?
Where do you live?
I'm in a shelter. I
We're
live in a
both
shelter.
currently in a shelter.
Yes.
Okay, where have you been living the last 2 years?
Minnesota.
We both
When did you
came.
move to Los Angeles?
July 11th, to be exact.
When she met the defendant, you weren't in Los Angeles at the time. Okay, so you don't really know who was with her at that time. Okay, go ahead.
She's lying about everything she's saying. And my girl,
What do you have personal knowledge of that relates to this lawsuit?
Basically, she's just judging her. You know what I mean? She's judging her, saying that she's this type of person.
Okay,
She judged
thank you,
me.
sir. You can have a seat.
Next on Judge Faith, tempers flare.
You got everything but that rent receipt, don't you? Because you haven't paid any rent.
Reggie B,
I'm calm down.
I'm gonna call you by your first name now.
Okay, I'm calm down. I'm gonna calm down.
By the way, what does the B stand for?
Be about my business.
Instead.
Yeah, that's what it stands for.
Plaintiff Tiara Tucker says her former landlady was a nightmare and is suing for missing belongings. Defendant Reggie B. Wormsley says the plaintiff took advantage of her and is countersuing for rent and defamation.
You are suing for $2,425, and you have listed a number of items. $1,700 for school books, $400 for clothing, a $200 flat iron, a $60 purse, and a few other things on this list. You say the defendant wrongfully kept those items.
Yes.
Explain to me what happened.
How can you afford that in your broke? How can you afford it in your broke? You haven't paid the rent.
Away.
You got everything but that rent receipt, don't you? Because you haven't paid any rent.
Ms. Wormsley, breathe, relax. Okay.
There was no agreement for the rent that she claims. The text message that she claimed that she just gave you, I also have mine. And I also have a voice recording of her saying that she threw my things away.
How did this happen? Tell me what happened.
I told her I was going to the shelter for 7 days to see if they can help me with housing so I wouldn't have to live with her and her family, dysfunctional family.
You're dysfunctional. You don't have anything.
So I text her and let her know I will be going to the shelter for 7 days to see if they can help me with my housing. I confirmed that with her, let her know. She said, okay, your stuff is still here. Do you want your stuff? I said, of course I do. And she flipped. She flipped. All this screaming and hollering you see, and also in my messages calling me out my name and everything, all of those are in the messages. She flipped for whatever reason, I'm not sure. She did say she wanted $60 in food stamps. I said I could give that to her.
Did you ever give her anything, the time period that you stayed there?
Yes.
Food stamps, cash, anything?
Yes,
What
I
did you
gave her
give
$100 in food stamps when I first got there. That was the very first day I met her.
Did she
brought
do
me
that?
in.
No, ma'am. She's a liar. Let me tell you something. The text message that she so-called sent me, she sent it via text the same day she filed this claim. On the same exact day. So she needed something to bring to court, Your Honor.
Okay, did you throw away any of her items?
Old plastic bags. There was nothing.
So there were bags?
Yeah, my friend called me on the phone from my house.
How many bags? How many
one
books?
plastic bag with nothing in it.
How many books? How
my
many
friend,
purses?
hold on a minute, don't be
Stop
disrespectful.
talking.
Stop it, because you don't want to hear the truth, but you're going to hear this one.
Tell me about the things you threw away, because that's the basis of this
Paper?
lawsuit.
I didn't even really look at it. It was a bunch of junk.
They were
Plastic
bags.
And some paper.
So you don't know what was in the
newspapers.
bags, you just threw
No,
the things
it wasn't
away.
a bag with anything
Oh, well,
in it. It was
that's
just a
funny. I
plastic
have a
bag.
picture, Your Honor,
Okay.
on her table of the things she threw away.
No, she has a picture when she was there. Who does that? Who takes pictures of their stuff and then submits it in court? Check the dates on them pictures.
Let me
because
see
I don't
your
know
picture.
I don't even have a table.
Let
I
me
have
see
a
the
kitchen
photo.
table.
All right, Miss Wormsley.
What table did she put her stuff on?
Okay, let me see the photo on the flat screen. Okay, what is this a photo of, Miss Tucker?
I have my flat iron, my modeling kit, which is also my makeup, and I have my MK purse that she actually just brought up.
Okay, and you're saying that these are all the things that she threw away?
Yes.
And where did this photo come from?
I was doing my hair that day, and I took a picture of it.
So you just happened to take a picture of
Yes,
all the
I am a
things
model,
that
and
you
I take
say
pictures
she
of
threw away.
everything.
And
I take
everything
pictures
is
of
sort of
everything.
right there in this photo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You told her, according to your answer, that when she started working, she would pay you $150.
Exactly.
Because you knew she wasn't working at the time,
At the
so she
time,
didn't
I
have
gave
any
her,
money.
And I even gave her love on her first paycheck. I said, you know what? I know you need to get back and forth to work, which I took her to work, by the way, and bought her work clothes and helped her pick out
Did
her
she do
outfit.
that?
She did take
And
me
gave
to
her
work.
shoes to wear.
Did she buy you work clothes?
And I repaid her for those.
Where did you finally get a job?
At Jersey Mike's Subway.
How long did you work there?
I was there maybe roughly a month.
Did you pay Miss Wormsley any money during the month that you were working?
Yes, I did. I paid her $100.
You paid her $100 in cash?
In cash, and she also got $100 in food stamps before I even
That
started
is
working.
not true, Your Honor. She's lying. I cannot believe.
Reggie B,
I'm calm down.
I'm gonna call you by your first name now.
Okay, I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna calm down.
Calm down.
I'm gonna calm down.
By the way, what does the B stand for?
Be about my business.
It stands.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. That's what it stands for. I'm very proud of it too. Yeah.
You say you have a recording, something you want to play for me?
I do have a recording of her saying that she threw my things away.
Okay, let me hear it.
Paper. I didn't say her. I didn't.
Well,
say,
in the recording, she states what she threw
Reggie?
away. I come to get my stuff.
Get off my porch.
I need my purse.
You know, I threw it in the trash. Whatever's back there, I just tossed it. I didn't even look at it.
Okay, and my books.
I don't know. I don't know where they at. Threw them outside.
Okay, well, I need my purse.
I threw it away.
Next on Judge Faith.
This is what I had to deal with this little girl here. And this is real emotion. I'm not faking. I don't care about no money. It's not about money. It's about helping somebody and being treated like that and lied on.
Plaintiff Tatiara Tucker is suing for missing books, clothes, and personal belongings. Defendant Reggie B. Wormsley says she went out of her way to help the plaintiff and denies taking her belongings.
So you said you threw away your purse.
No, I just threw the stuff away. When she's asking me, I'm mad at her. I'm telling her to, first of all, let's get to that point. She showed up on my porch with a cell phone in hand, knocking on my door after I told her to stay away from me. After she told me not to text her anymore. She shows up on my porch. I came to get my stuff. I said, Tiara, get off my porch. She's like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not doing anything. I said, you're going to get off my porch.
I didn't hear that in the voice.
Yeah, she didn't record that part of it. She recorded what she want to record. Like I said, it's convenient for her. And she said, oh, I'm going to call the police. I said, I don't care what you do, as long as you do it from the curb and get off my porch. So anyway, she would not get off my porch. She called the police on me and said I stole her purse.
You called the police on her?
I called the police.
Then, hold on, then she left.
I called the police to help me go get my things.
45 minutes later, I had a house full of people. That's what she didn't know, because I never opened my door for her.
She had a house
except
full of
the
people,
slider, that
exactly.
book, and that envelope that I found of hers. There was no purse. There was none of this miraculous evidence that she's saying I did. As God is my father, if I did that, then y'all might well leave this earth today. Because I didn't do that. And I said what I said because I was just like mad. I just said I threw the stuff in the back of the couch. If you listen to what I said in the beginning, I don't know what you're talking about. My purse, I said, I don't know. Whatever was back there, I threw it away, which was papers.
Okay.
I didn't see any purse. I didn't see any makeup, which she never wore makeup when she was at my house. She never even wore lip gloss.
Okay,
So
you're suing for
makeup.
you're suing for $1,700 worth of school books. How did you have? Why did you have $1,700 worth of school books? Where were you in school? When were these books purchased? How are you going to prove to me you had $1,700?
I have the receipt. If you want the receipt as well for my books. I was going to school for pharmacy technician.
I mean, my law school books didn't cost me $1,700 for an entire year.
The whole course cost $1,700.
So let me see the. Let me see.
And I also have messages of her saying that she threw away my books and whatever else.
I didn't throw away
my
nothing.
books,
I just
my
said whatever to get
firearm,
you
my
off the phone.
clothes.
I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. I didn't throw
Okay,
away
so
your
no,
stuff.
this is proof that you enrolled and paid tuition. This is not proof of how much you paid for books. Do you have a receipt for books you purchased?
I don't have that with me.
I mean, I just find it hard to believe that you had $1,700 worth of school books and you're not working, you barely had a job, you have a Michael Kors purse, and you're sleeping on somebody's couch. Someone who opened up their home. I want to explain something to you because at 22 years old, people don't have to open up their home to you. You are a complete stranger. And her mother saw you, her mother works in the ministry, and they opened up their home to you. You understand? So that's something that you should have been incredibly grateful for.
And
no, based on what I've witnessed here today, I just don't see that kind of gratitude coming from you. I see attitude.
And now, Judge Faith rules.
What's the defamation of character counterclaim
Because
about?
she embarrassed me, really. I had people in there I was doing business with in my house. She don't know who was in my house when she walked up with that phone trying to entrap me. And I don't appreciate being called a thief.
Your Honor, I did not call her a thief.
And I don't appreciate her tone. This is what I had to deal with this little girl here. And this is real emotion. I'm not faking. I don't care about no money. It's not about money. It's about helping somebody and being treated like that and lied on. And I'm not gonna be treated like that by nobody. So whatever, that's what she wants, that's her. I don't owe her anything.
Your Honor, I called the police to help me assist with her because she is a rowdy person.
I'm not rowdy,
She has
this is
called
me.
me out my name, and as you can
You're
see
rowdy.
in that voice message
You're
as well.
rowdy. You got on a little dress
Miss
today.
Wormsley.
You're a little rowdy.
Calm down. You need to calm down. I don't want your blood pressure going up.
Yeah, it does.
You,
I do have high blood. I'm sorry.
You know,
I do.
Yeah, you need to calm down.
I did not tell the police that she stole my things. I told the police she would not give me my things.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Based on what I've heard here today, I don't think you paid her $150. I don't think she ever saw a dime of money from you. In terms of the items you say were there and that she threw away, you admit to throwing away some bags, some trash. You said you didn't even look at it. You didn't even know what was in there. So I am essentially going to do a little rough calculation here. On your counterclaim, I am ordering you to pay her $150 in unpaid rent. I don't believe you paid her a dime of the money you say you did. Second, I think you have come into court and completely embellished what you said was left behind in that house. I think you had a few things left behind, and she admits she threw away some bags, but I think what you have listed here is a complete embellishment, and that is a nice way for me to say you're lying. But since she admits she threw away some papers and I don't know exactly what's in there, I am going to take into account that there was something in there and assign it a value of $50. However, I think when you call the police on someone that you have lived with in their home for a month, and I've listened to the type of work Ms. Wormsley has been involved in, I know she gets emotional because she's passionate and believes in what she's saying and what she's doing. But I think when you call the police on someone falsely, it is a defamation of their character, and I'm going to order you to pay her $1,000 for defamation of character. So my judgment in this case is a net judgment for the defendant for $1,100. Judgment for the defendant.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.